My name is Julie Torres, and I'm a senior at Queens College, and this is a little presentation on my thesis of HBO's Game of Thrones as a post-colonial text. So the reason I chose this topic is because I am a fan, first and foremost, of Game of Thrones, and I think that's where pop culture starts. Something that is well-liked becomes popular and moves to define the culture at the time. The real reason I wanted to write about Game of Thrones is because of language. Language is so powerful, and the made-up languages that are created specifically for television shows and movies are very telling about its speakers. It could tell you where they're from or even their social class. And here is the king, David J. Peterson. He is the language creator for the HBO version of Game of Thrones, and he created these languages from just a few sentences or even just a few words from George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire. And the languages he created really helped sculpt the class structure in Game of Thrones. As seen through the Dothraki language and the High Valyrian language, you can really see how the people thought of each other through their language. You'll see in this clip that Dothraki is very guttural, and conlangs, also known as constructed languages, are made to be so. They are made to be heard and make you feel some type of way about its speakers.
Zaldrizes buzdaris daur.
Idraji valere?
Nige daineres gel masmo entargerio lentrot. En Valeria wepoana garexan. Valeria munioengos nuihis isa.
You can see that Valyrian is not as guttural or harsh on the ears as Dothraki is. It's still a powerful language and it can still be spoken powerfully like Daenerys is doing, but it's more comparable to Latin, and so it's considered to be the language of the nobility. This is a little crash course on what Game of Thrones is about for anyone who doesn't really know. It is based on a medieval country and its civil war in which its characters are fighting to sit on the Iron Throne and rule the Seven Kingdoms. Some themes include war, othering, love and sex, and politics, of course. And it's based on A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. And there's also some ice zombies in there too for fun. The theme of othering really stood out to me when I watched Game of Thrones, and there is a very clear dichotomy between the people of Westeros compared to the people of Essos, and they're very different in both the languages as well as their physical appearance. This is a picture of the Dothraki people. They are located in Essos, and they're obviously the most tan, and they're considered savage, so I think HBO has a lot of explaining to do between the correlation of the two. So these are the ladies of Dorne, and although Dorne is located in Westeros, it is the southernmost tip of Westeros, so they do have some melanin, yes, but they do have a lot of conflict with the upper parts of Westeros. But they're still held above the Dothraki because look at their clothes, it's much nicer. And these are the Starks of Winterfell. Winterfell is located in Westeros, and most of the people of Westeros look like this. They are lighter in skin tone. And the Starks are very highly respected. The Martells of Highgarden are also very well respected. They're considered nobility in Westeros, and that is very clear through their costume design, very ornate and very regal clothing. So this might be a hot take, but Game of Thrones is a piece of popular culture that doesn't really subvert the power dynamic that the West versus the other puts forth. It's really just perpetuating it, and I think maybe that's why it's so popular, because really subversive content has no longevity in the popular cultural canon. especially when it's made by big content creators like makers of TV shows and movies. And that's where fan culture comes in, and the decolonization of the popular. With the power of the fan, we're able to see ourselves in the stuff that we love, and we should be able to do that.
And honestly, I was a little bit disappointed. But